Does a diet for diabetes include carbohydrates? This particular video is a follow-up to the original article and video of the same name. In this particular portion, I'm going to show you the foods that you should indulge in and ones you shouldn't be indulging in. Okay? So, allowed and disallowed foods for type 1 and type 2 diabetes. To maintain your blood sugar levels in your body, this guide can take the guesswork out of what you can and cannot eat as a diabetic. Although I produced this list from the most reliable list of accepted foods by top doctors in the diabetes field, it is intended for information and entertainment purposes only. Consult with your doctor for your ideal diet and treatment. Now, allowed foods. Now, just a couple of notes on vegetables. 2/3 cups of cooked vegetables or 1 cup of mixed salad equals 6 grams of carbohydrates. Cooked vegetables tend to raise blood sugar more rapidly than raw vegetables. There, now having said that, let's get to it. Here's what's allowed insofar as vegetables are concerned. Asparagus, avocado, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage and sauerkraut, cauliflower, eggplant, onions in small amounts, peppers of any color, that is except for yellow bell peppers, mushrooms, spinach, string beans, summer squash, and zucchini. Meat, fish, fowl, seafoods, and eggs should be the major source of calories for the diabetic patient. Beef, lamb, veal, chicken, turkey, fish and shellfish, fresh or canned, frankfurters, oddly enough, pork, including of course ham, chops, bacon, etc., tofu and soybean meat substitute. These contain vegetable fat, protein, and slow-acting carbohydrates. Commercially prepared and homemade soups. Check labels for low or zero carbohydrates prepared soups, or make them at home with acceptable vegetables, meat, herbs, and spices. Cheese, butter, and cream. Most cheeses, other than cottage cheese, contain approximately equal amounts of protein and fat and small amounts of carbohydrates. Every ounce of cheese contains 1 gram of carbohydrates, except cottage cheese, which contains more. Yogurt. Plain whole milk yogurt without fruit or added sweetener is an acceptable food. Read the labels. Sweeten and flavor with stevia, baking flavor extracts, jello, gelatin, or spices. Soy milk must be unsweetened. Soybean flour. 1 ounce of full-fat soybean flour, approximately 1/4 cup, contains only 7.5 grams of slow-acting carbohydrates. You may experiment with soybean flour in baking breads, cakes, pies, etc. Bran crackers. Check labels to find a low carbohydrates option. Eat spread with cream, cheese, or butter. Sweeteners. Saccharin, aspartame, stevia, and cyclamate. Use stevia. 0 carbohydrates and beneficial to the pancreas, plus it is completely natural. Flavor extracts. Found in the baking section of most grocery stores. Read the labels to confirm 0 carbohydrates content. Mustard, peppers, salt, spices, herbs. Read the labels of commercially prepared mustard to confirm low carbohydrates content. Pepper, salt, spices, and herbs generally are low in carbohydrates content, and if used in small amounts have insignificant amount of carbohydrates. Low carbohydrates salad dressing. Make your own using oil and vinegar, not balsamic, added spices, mustard, grated cheese, or bacon bits. Read labels of commercial dressings for 1 gram of carbohydrates per 2 tablespoons of serving. Be careful with mayonnaise. Low carbohydrates mayonnaise will add up if used in a large amount. Nuts. Nuts contain differing amounts of slow-acting carbohydrates as well as protein and fat and can be worked into meal plans. For example, 10 small pistachio nuts contain 1 gram of carbohydrates versus 10 cashew nuts containing 5 grams of carbohydrates. Beware the carbohydrates in large numbers of nuts is going to add up. Also beware of nut butters. 1 tablespoon of natural unsweetened peanut butter, other nut butters will differ, contains only 3 grams of carbohydrates, but larger amounts will add up. Sugar-free Jell-O gelatin. A half-cup serving contains no carbohydrates, no fat, and only 1 gram of protein. It will have no effect on your blood sugar if you eat it in a reasonable amount and don't eat it until you feel stuffed. Enhance the taste by pouring some cream over it or whip it in a blender with cream. Add some no-carb flavored syrups or baking extracts and stevia for sweetening. Sugar-free Jell-O puddings. Pudding contains 6 grams of carbohydrates per serving. Add this into your meal plan. Mix with water or diluted cream instead of milk. Gum. The carbohydrates content of 1 stick of chewing gum varies from about 1 gram in the sugar-free gum to 7 grams in regular gum. Read the label for carbohydrates content. Sugar-free gum still contains a sugar substitute. Frozen diet soda pops. Make your own with diet soda frozen in a mold. Do not get pops made with fruit juices. Coffee, tea, seltzer, mineral water, club soda, diet sodas. None of these products should have significant effect upon blood sugar as long as they are sweetened with stevia or tablet sweeteners. Use cream to lighten instead of milk or powdered creamer in coffee. Beware of diet sodas and flavored mineral waters as they often contain fruit juices or added sugars. Alcohol. In limited amounts, distilled spirits has no direct effect on blood sugar. The effects of small amounts of alcohol, 1.5 ounces of spirits for a typical adult, are usually negligible. Most light beers contain only about 3 grams of carbohydrates per can or bottle, as compared to a regular bottle of beer which has 13 grams of carbohydrates, which is the total amount of recommended carbohydrates for an entire meal. Snacks. Separate meals and snacks by at least 3.5 hours to keep carbohydrates at meals from overlapping each other. Snacks can duplicate but not exceed carbohydrates and protein amounts of meals. You can have a snack with 12 ounces of carbohydrates at least 3.5 hours after lunch and 3.5 hours before dinner. Snacks limited to small amounts of protein will have less effect on your blood sugar. Sweet or starchy vegetables. Well, now we're getting into the not allowed section here. So these are ones to stay away from. Again, sweet or starchy vegetables such as beans, consisting of, for example, chili beans, chickpeas, lima beans, lentils, sweet peas. Remember, string beans and soybean products are okay. Also, what are not allowed are beets, carrots, cooked tomatoes, tomato paste, tomato sauce, corn, legumes, onions, except in small amounts, packaged vegetables containing sugars or flour, parsnips, potatoes, raw tomatoes except in small amounts, winter squash, yellow bell peppers, all fruits except avocados, all juices, including tomato and vegetable juices, certain dairy products, milk, sweetened and low-fat yogurt. Most low-fat and non-fat yogurts have added carbs. Cottage cheese, except in small amounts, powdered creamer and milk substitutes and coffee lighteners, evaporated or condensed milk, prepared foods, commercially prepared soups, packaged diet or health foods, snack foods, balsamic vinegar. Warning: be sure to read the labels on and before buying packaged food from a grocery store. Note the serving size when figuring out the amount of carbohydrates in a product. Be especially careful to inspect all labels that say diet or dietetic, light or the cutesy misspelled version of that word, light, low calorie, reduced calorie, sugar-free, etc. They can be very misleading. Make sure you read those labels and check what's going on. And watch out for fat-free. It is the most dangerous of all to ignore because the fat in the food has likely been replaced with sugar or another high carbohydrate sweetener. Foods with this label can affect your blood sugar dramatically. Just stay away from them. Yes, I know. It can all be very confusing, can't it? For a very simple way to monitor and follow your diet for diabetes, go to www.dietfordiabetes.ca. That's www.dietfordiabetes.ca. There is a link for that somewhere on this page. Thank you very much.